Hey everyone, so STAX and affordable are two words that you typically don't see used in the same sentence. But with the release of the STAX SRS-X1000 electrostatic ear speaker system, this changes everything. The SRS-X1000 system includes the SR-X1 electrostatic ear speaker, as well as the SRM-270S driver unit, also known as the Energizer. And the great thing is that you get both of these for under $1,000, which is unheard of, because usually just for the Energizer it costs well over $1,000. So that's where most of the cost comes for electrostatic ear speakers. It's not the cost of the headphone itself, although those can be expensive as well. It's mostly that driver unit that's gonna drive up the cost. And what STAX has done with this bundle, it's made it an affordable gateway for regular people to get into electrostatic ear speakers if they wanted to. Previously on my channel, I reviewed the STAX SR-L300 ear speakers, which are well known in the audiophile community as sounding absolutely great. But I'll be honest, the build quality is not very good with the L300, as it's made out of mostly plastic and it doesn't look the best compared to other headphones out there that you can purchase for much less. If you guys are interested in listening to my impressions of the STAX SR-L300 ear speakers, go ahead and check out this video that will pop up right now, and also include it down in the description below, and you guys can take a look at that if you wanted to. Now, STAX did inform me that the SR-L300 has been discontinued, but recently STAX did release the STAX SRS-X1000 as an entry-level product into the STAX headphones ecosystem. So I'm gonna go ahead and unbox this for you guys so you guys can see exactly what you get for under $1,000. And we're gonna look at things like build quality and so on. And more importantly, in this video, I'll tell you my impressions of how this sounds. And I'd like to thank STAX for sending out this demo unit all the way from China for me to review for you guys. So I'm really excited about this one, you guys. So let's get right into it. All right, so first let's take a look at the driver unit, also known as the Energizer. This is gonna power our electrostatic ear speaker. And you do get a user's manual for the driver unit. All right, and there seems to be a power plug here. This is a nice little unit here. Let's start off with the front here. And we have the STAX Pro connector on the left, and it can only handle the STAX Pro connector. And in the center here, we just have an LED here, and then we have an adjustment for the volume level. Now, it does look very well built, made out of metal, so that's a good sign. It's pretty small, actually. I was expecting this to be much big, so I'm hoping that we do get some good power out of this to be able to drive those ear speakers. In the bottom here, we do have some pretty thick feet to protect your desk from any scratching. And this is what the side looks like. In the back, we just have RC connectors for in and out, right and left. And so again, this is the SRM-270S Energizer or driver unit from STAX. And now I'm gonna go ahead and unbox the SR-X1 electrostatic ear speaker. So we're gonna take a look and see how this one differs from the SR-L300 that I mentioned earlier. All right, and here are the SR-X1s. And first thing I'll tell you is that they're super light. These are probably the lightest headphones / ear speakers I have ever handled. They weigh almost nothing. These are gonna just melt away in your head. You're not even gonna notice you have them on. Now, I believe this head strap is pleather. From what I can tell, it's a little bit stretchy. So that tells me it's maybe pleather versus real leather. Maybe you guys can see here where I stretch it. It just stretches like it's got some elastic in it. The texture on the top is different from the texture on the bottom here. On the top, it's kind of a rougher texture, whereas this bottom here is a really soft texture that's gonna feel really good on your head. Now, this headband is very thin, so we'll see how that affects when you're wearing it. And the yokes here are made out of metal, but it's a very thin piece. And for this adjustment part right here, it is made out of plastic, so I don't know how durable that's gonna be, but at least this part here is made out of metal, which is good. Okay, and I just noticed that you can remove the ear speaker from the yoke very easily, as you see right here. So if you need to service it or something, you can easily do that. And maybe we could take a closer look here. And here we see the grill, which this whole area is, as far as I can tell, is made out of plastic. But in here you can see inside into the electrostatic driver area. And it's a little hard to see on camera, but it looks like we have like a plastic honeycomb system that protects the driver. And then we have what looks like horizontal metal waveguides, as far as I can tell. They go from the top to the bottom of the ear speaker. As far as the ear pads, they're very soft and feel very comfortable. The only drawback that I see here is that the opening for your ear is very small. So I have bigger ears, so we'll see how that affects me as I try on the SR-X1. And then the depth for your ear to fit in is not a lot. I mean, as you can see, I put my finger and it's already hitting right here where your ear would touch. So there might be some rubbing of your ear to the inside of the ear speaker here. The ear pads do look like they're removable, but I'm not gonna remove it because this is a demo unit that was sent out to me and I don't want to mess it up. And in the bottom here, we have the connector for the audio cable, which we'll look at in just a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and put this ear cup back on. And yeah, this ear speaker seems very serviceable. Something happens to one of the sides, you can easily replace it. Now, as far as swivel, they do have minimal forward and back swivel. And if we're looking to swivel this way, there is a lot of room to swivel. You can see it kind of goes all the way around. But yeah, as it is set up right now, it seems like it'll fit on a very small head. So I'm gonna have to adjust this all the way up probably, and hopefully it fits my big head. But yeah, overall the build quality does seem better than the SRL-300. These definitely look more like, you know, your audiophile headphones that you tried, such as, you know, Very Dynamic, Hi-Fi Man, stuff like that. And the ear cup does seem like a much smaller surface area than the SRL-300. So hopefully, you know, the audio quality is similar to the SRL-300. And so here is the audio cable that connects from the ear speaker to the driver unit, and it is quite long. It's really long. So yeah, the length of this cable is taller than me, and I'm 6 feet. So yeah, it's about maybe 10 feet, which gives you a lot of room to move around when you're listening to your music, I guess. And the connector end that goes into the driver unit does have a little cap here that you can remove. That gives you access to these pins here, and you're gonna wanna line up this little nub here on top to the top of the driver unit, just like this, and go ahead and plug it in, and it snaps right in and it stays put. Even if you pull on it a little bit, it's gonna be hard to take out, which is really nice. It is a nice wide but thin cable, and the markings for left and right are here on the side of the ear speaker. And of course you wanna match it with the end. This marked as left for the connector for the ear speaker. And you connect it up just like that. And now for the right one, and there we go. I'm gonna go ahead and take some time with the SRS-X1000 system, and I'll be right back with my sound impressions of this sub 1000 electrostatic ear speaker system. Now that I've had some time to spend with the STAX SRS-X1000 system, I do want to talk about the comfort of the SRS-X1 headphones here, as well as the sound quality of the whole system, consisting of the SRS-X1 electrostatic ear speakers, as well as the SRM-270S Energizer. And so first, to start off with the comfort of the STAX SRS-X1s, and the comfort, I'm glad to say, is excellent. They're just so light, probably some of the lightest headphones I've ever worn. They're so light that you forget that you even have them on when you're listening to your music. I would probably rate the comfort at either 8.5 or 9 out of 10. That's how good they are. My only complaint is that I wish the ear opening on the ear pads here was much bigger. I do have bigger ears. However, I didn't mind it so much because these ear pads are buttery smooth. So I didn't mind so much that my ears would touch the inside part of the ear pads here, again, because these ear pads are just so soft and smooth. Also, one other thing I came across is that the audio cable is kind of on the heavier side, especially when you have a good portion of it hanging down. What happens is that the cable kind of hangs down and pulls down a little bit on the ear pads here. So you do have that sensation that you're kind of being pulled down. But I was able to kind of circumvent this by just placing this audio cable on my lap. And since it's so long, I was able to do that pretty easily. And so that kind of solved that problem. So I would definitely say that the SRS-X1s were quite a bit more comfortable than the SRL-300s, which I tried previously and have been discontinued now. Those are just like a big rectangle that sits on your ears. And although they sound good, it just has an odd feeling that you don't get with other headphones. So I'm really glad that they went with this design for the X1s here. Nice rounded ear cups that are super light. All right, and now let's talk about the sound quality of the system. And first of all, this SRM-270S Energizer worked great as an amplifier. As you can see here, this is where I had the volume setting set to pretty much the whole time. And that was more than enough volume for my music listening sessions. And as you can see, it leaves you a lot of headroom. So it's amazing to see how this little Energizer here, that again acts as the amplifier, was able to output that much power. And this little Energizer is so small that you could just place it anywhere on your desk. And it's also not very heavy. So these ear speakers are different from all my other headphones, but in a good way. So I'd like to share with you guys what stands out about these headphones. And what stands out to me is the level of clarity and detail retrieval. They're just excellent with these ear speakers. I was also very surprised with how much bass these ear speakers produce. It's a very clean and controlled bass that doesn't bleed into the other frequency ranges. I really enjoyed listening to vocals in my music as the singer's voice sounded forward and was crystal clear. These are the type of headphones that you want to sit down and listen to every single little detail in the music. You're going to hear things in your music that you didn't notice before because these ear speakers do a great job of bringing out those little small details in the music. The STAX system also does a great job of balancing the sound. Everything from the sub bass all the way up to the high frequencies are well controlled. There is no sense of bloat in the bass and no sign of sibilance in the treble. As far as tonality of the STAX SRS-X1000 system, I would say that it falls somewhere between neutral and slightly bright, which makes it great for detail retrieval, especially in the treble region. And so one important thing I wanted to note about this ear speaker bundle is that it only includes the ear speakers you see here on the left, as well as this Energizer, which acts as an amplifier. So you still need a DAC to listen to your music. And I was really impressed that I was able to use this $200 iFi ZenDAC version 3 and it sounded amazing. So as you guys can see, these make for a great pairing. They're about the same size, and you can even stack the ZenDAC right above the SRM-270S Energizer. I did try other more expensive DACs, but I didn't notice that much of a difference. So if you're gonna get the STAX bundle, know that you can get a more affordable DAC such as the ZenDAC 3 from iFi, and you'll be good to go. And if you guys are interested in the STAX electrostatic ear speaker system or this ZenDAC version 3, I will leave affiliate links down in the description below. So now let's get into soundstage and imaging, which were excellent on this ear speaker system. They have a very wide, spacious soundstage, and the only other headphone that I actually own that can beat this on soundstage are these Sennheiser HC8XX headphones, and that's saying a lot because the Sennheiser HC800 series are known for having a very wide soundstage. As for imaging, everything from the vocals and various instruments are very well separated. Vocals are well centered. There's also a very good sense of layering in the music. All this provides for a very enjoyable listening experience, which almost feels like you're in the middle of an orchestra.